talk starts. So take a seat, let's have a chat, table talk, where the real talk's at.
Well, are we live? Is it working?
It's working.
Don't get up. Ish.
It's right meow.
Well, good.
At least it says we are alive.
I guess we'll find out.
It's glitching as usual.
Well, you know, I'm also trying to learn the Stennis way.
Yes. I blame the Brady bunch. Not the show, just the Brady bunch in general.
Just the Bradys in general.
In general, yes.
Okay.
Before they try getting us for pleasure. Is it pleasurism? Am I saying that word wrong?
It depends on the why you're saying it.
Plagiarism?
That word.
Oh.
Not pleasure. No.
Not plagiarism.
No. Yeah. Boy, God's chasing some sheep this week. I'm one of the sheep. Bad. I'm one of the sheep that's going over here in the corner. God's going, get back over here, but I want to stay over here. Get over here. No, I want to stay over here. And he's got a shepherd's hook around my neck. You know,
You're over there hitting your head on the wall?
Yeah.
I think one of the more accurate and yet humorous things is the cartoon depiction of footprints.
Yes.
Like when you seen only one row of prints, that was when I carried you. And that big trough there is when I had to drag you kicking and screaming. You know, I'm like, well, that explains where the sand came from.
That reminds me of a person I worked with at Dollar General. Can't I remember? I think her name was. Well, I won't say her name.
Doesn't matter.
Anyways, she cracked me up. She always she was shorter than me, and not by much, maybe up to my nose. And she goes, when me and you both walk in the snow, there's 3 tracks instead of just 2. And I got to thinking about it. What are you talking about? She was think about it. I'm like, oh, foot and butt. Well, I never thought of it that way.
I'd have had to correct her, like, it's cold outside, still only going to be 2. It is what it is.
Yeah, we're human.
Oh, yeah. And, cold does have an effect on things.
Yes. Another day in paradise.
Mm-hmm. So we are...
With a C.
What?
Paradise. You spelled with a C, not an S.
I have no idea.
I think paradise is with an S.
That's why he said C with an instead of an S. I was very confused where he was going with that. I have no idea.
All right.
Unless you consider paradise with the C as in the C-S-E-A-C. I mean, I can get down with that.
It's my train. Let me derail it. Okay.
Are you trying to tell us that your train of thought run off without you?
We go.
Wow.
Like, run off without me. I've been tied to the tracks for years.
You left me behind.
Like, I am literally that guy tied up on the cattle catcher.
I needed this
But
more
we
than
can
y'all
tell you
did.
about the little engine that could.
It never did. Did you ever hear about it? Because I never did, because they never made it.
Well, it's just Charlie blew the bridge.
He did.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mike.
I can't do that high pitched of a squeal, though.
That reminds me of that movie Gabe's always watching.
That's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Oh.
You got no legs.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's a different movie.
Oh.
I am not your dang brother.
I can go and watch it now. I love that movie.
It's great. It's great. And like that is a remake from what I've been told. I guess the original is probably early 70s. And I want to say that I started watching it, and I like the remake.
They need to involve them. They need to have like in Lieutenant Dan in there somewhere. That'd been great.
I don't think Lieutenant Dan was Lieutenant Dan whenever that movie was filmed.
No, but it would have been great though. Somewhere, just a it's a kind of comedy thing.
I mean, having Bam Bam Bigelow in there was pretty good.
Yeah. That's good.
And was it Jack Nicholson that played like the abusive stepdad or whatever? Or is it just somebody kind of No, that's Michael Ironside.
Yeah.
I think he plays that type of character and like he's always a butt.
Drawing a blank. What's the name of that movie?
Major Pain.
Major Pain. Yeah. Yeah.
The other one you were trying to do was Rush Hour. You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
I mean, it's two.
Don't nobody understand the words coming out of your mouth.
Two great movies. Oh. Yes.
Yes. Psalms 23. The second part of
We need
verse
to try to finish this tonight.
Right.
Have you met us? So 2 weeks ago, because we got off track last week a lot, we talked about
the trash.
He makes me lie.
Fine to me.
He makes me lie down is what we focused on last week, or 2 weeks ago. We tried to work on he leads me beside the still waters, the second part of this verse. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at on that.
One of our local viewers is having trouble finding it.
Oh, I didn't share it like I normally do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now it's on Facebook.
I think she's watching from YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not showing up on YouTube.
Would you?
He's working on it. Is it just going to Facebook right now?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
It's on mine. Or I think for friends.
No, we're not. We're not friends at all.
Don't mean her.
Oh. I don't know if y'all are or not.
How did I fix that?
I don't know.
How did you screw it up to begin with?
When we had to stop it and
Yeah. Okay, well, why isn't the other platform paying attention? We restarted.
That's not the right.
My
Hey.
focus jet faba. Is this going to be we continue while you try to sort it out? Or
Yeah,
wait to
man.
see if
tell
you're
her
shut down?
I have tagged her in the Facebook chat.
Tell her what?
I
She's
tagged
been
her
tagged in it.
in the Facebook chat.
Okay.
Yes, you're friends with her. I think. I don't. I can't find your page. It keeps bringing up your old page. I don't know. Okay, anywho. He'll get that figured out.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so we are going from
We are still in verse 2 of
Yes.
Psalm 23.
yes.
So the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to rest in green pasture. I'm reading from the Geneva. And leadeth me by the still waters. And from the comma to the period, that's where we're at right now.
Yep. So we did the Lord is my shepherd, and we got he makes me lie down. And we were discussing that where, we were talking about it's where we left off at.
Right.
Was where, sometimes it's a voluntary break, sometimes it's not so voluntary.
That is correct.
Sometimes he's like, you've got to rest, so, I'm going to close this door, or, it's like illness, something
Right.
to, hey, slow down, listen to me, take your time, take some rest. So that's what where we left off last time.
And, David writing this, he's still very heavily leaning into the shepherd and sheep aspect of it. So, like, no, he's not telling you to pitch a tent beside a ditch. And I want to say it was when we started this, you spoke extensively about the nature of sheep and shepherding.
Yeah.
And, how they constantly wander off, how they are very finicky over their food supply, over where they lay down at, if they will lay down at all.
Yeah.
And so, do you remember any specifics on where that applies to this, or do you have to dig out your notes?
Well, we were talking about with the sheep, they're being stubborn and, they're full of anxiety. They're full of just, wandering on their own type things. To lay down, they have to have, they can't be scared. They can't be hungry. They need to feel safe.
Right. So,
And not bothered by, insects, things like that. So they need to be basically at rest. I mean, mentally at rest.
At peace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better word for it. Yes.
No distractions, no worries, no fears, like no Christmas tinsel and shiny lights,
Yep.
They wouldn't make it on this podcast.
Nope.
We're barely surviving.
And it also, also said, from the research that I did that, sheep will actually stand still to the point of physical exhaustion. They will just stand still.
Right,
They will not lay down if those needs aren't met. So that's why it says they, makes me lie down. So a shepherd has to make them lie down. He has to make sure that everything is lined up perfectly for them.
And to reiterate from the shepherd's standpoint, he's not talking about physically forcing them to lay down.
No.
It is the making of the right atmosphere so that they will lay down themselves.
Yes.
He has to provide that comfort, that peace, that lack of anxiety, the full belly,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's obviously a lot more to it than, sitting out in the wilderness with your hook and your staff and listening to them and, trying to stay upwind.
And, we discussed that, the green pastures, that was not commonplace in that territory then.
Right.
So the shepherd had to know the land and know where the best green pastures were to take the sheep for them to be able to lie down and rest. So, that's another thing, God's got to know, he knows where we need to be at in our lives.
The thing I find interesting, and, I'm want to speak here for a moment on memory. So there's a question mark there, and I have no way of verifying the information, so another question mark, but I remember running across something. Now, if you go through the Old Testament, the majority of it is around the lives of the Israelites. It is so telling. For the most part, their whole existence goes, I'm not going to say there's no trouble, no problems, but things are obviously better when they're trying to do right and trying to live by God.
Mm-hmm.
And when they fail to do that, either by prolonged happenstance or deliberate apathy, things go very poorly very quickly. My understanding is that there are times throughout history where Israel, the land, it's not all desert.
Right.
Of course, we hear about the Sea of Galilee and the Jordan River, but that's not simply an oasis there in the middle of the country either. There are times and seasons, apparently, where Israel has been very fruitful and prosperous in the land.
Mm-hmm.
And then other times where it is barren and produces dust and sand and bugs.
Mm-hmm.
And those times also seem to correlate with their obedience and faithfulness.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow, like how often do we, we should not be following Christ for selfish ambition. But anybody who has at least honestly attempted to follow Christ, there are things in the world that's still going to go wrong. We're not always going to get our way, but on the overall average, life is still better when, even when things are going bad, life is still better with Christ.
Yeah.
And, looking through the book, we've got documented 6 to 8,000 years of, wow, is there a pattern? You know, when you turn from God, things go bad. When you return to God, things go like and again, we are like sheep. Our memory is the span of a gnat,
Excuse me.
you know. And like it always blew my mind. Like if you go through the Exodus aspect where they was actually leaving Israel and they crossed the Red Sea, you know, what are they like 3 days past the Red Sea and they're already griping and complaining? Well, what has God ever done for us? I'm like, really?
Excuse me.
Y'all didn't witness the plagues of Egypt?
Right.
Y'all weren't present for the first Passover? Did you not just walk across dry land in the Red Sea?
Mhm.
You know,
Oh.
but that's, you know, and I remember reading that and kind of criticizing the Israelites. I'm like, are y'all stupid? And then I look back at my own life and like every time a problem comes up, we pray to God like he's never answered our prayers before.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. How easily we
Yes.
forget.
Yeah, the answer is yes, we are that student.
Yep.
You know?
'Cause
When
we
when
lose-
you was describing the nature of sheep a couple of podcasts ago, I'm like, wow, dang.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Yeah. They we definitely we are definitely sheep.
Yeah.
That's all I can say is we are definitely sheep. Yeah. So you know, we're talking about how we sometimes have to take that pause.
Right.
And sometimes it's a forced pause, sometimes it's not. You know, so if you feel like you're forced into one, don't view it as a punishment.
Slight interruption. How did you do that tag? Is it on the your page, tagged directly to her?
I sent her a message on Facebook and Messenger.
Huh.
I sent her 2 different links, the Facebook link and the Riverside link. The Riverside link was away from Facebook.
Right.
Is it from on your friendly page or the?
Yeah, my personal page.
Okay.
I'm not seeing it.
Click on that.
I am on yours. Yeah, I am on yours.
Hold on.
I'm not seeing it, babe.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously technical difficulties.
Yeah.
If I want to see how bad that can get, I recommend finding a video of watching Paul Gilbert do technical difficulties.
The devil's a liar.
He is.
I was going to share it on my page too. That way.
You were saying about the nature of sheep. Spoil.
Yeah, I remember. No, I was talking about how you know, if you feel like you're forced into a pause or something,
Right.
don't look at it as a punishment. Sometimes it's just God saying, "Hey, it's time for you to take that break and rest in me."
Well, there is also something in our human nature where it's like we never know what the happy medium is. It's
Mhm.
either I've got to do everything and, you know, God can play catch up, or we do nothing and we're waiting for God to do everything. You know, it seems that, you know, we never can find that right balance of, you know, doing what needs to be done, but also waiting on the Lord. You know, but yes, I
Figured it out.
you can overdo it, and you can be put on pause.
Mhm.
And the stupid thing is you know, like I don't believe that God would want to make anybody sick or want them to suffer or anything ignorant like that. Outside of what they may have brought upon themselves. I'm pretty sure there's a story in the same Exodus story. Well, it's more in the 40 years of wandering story. a portion of the Israelites spent a lot of time complaining and being a pain in the butt, and he gave them hemorrhoids. You know,
Yeah.
so like to me, that's kind of self-inflicted.
Right.
You know, so if you don't want a pain in the butt, don't be a pain in the butt. You know, it kind of tells me that God worked on the original FAFO principle. You
Mhm.
know, but
But yeah, I mean, you just got to view it as, sometimes, he's removing whatever it is that's blocking you from
well, and
being.
sometimes it's us.
Yes,
You know,
Yeah.
it's
99% of the time it's
Well,
us.
but you know, like there are going to be situations where our effort is going to be counterproductive to what he's trying to do. You know, like we've talked about different folks and whatnot. Some people are their own worst enemy. Um, why can that same principle not apply? Like if we jump too far head first and both feet into a situation that we're praying about and everything else, why do we ever get the idea that maybe we're not the one causing the holdup?
Right.
You know, and I know we got that mindset of I've got to make it happen, you know, but I mean, have you watched Airheads? Yeah, I mean, that was their mindset. Nobody's going to come by and do this for us. We've got to go do this. Well, you know, it's a fictional movie. It turned out all right for them, but it's not recommended.
Yeah. Sorry, he's got my notes now.
It's all right.
Just, she's still struggling. She said that she downloaded the Riverside, but it's just blank.
Right.
So I don't know.
For some reason, Facebook's private.
Well,
It won't
let
me
her
change-
know we'll upload it
Right.
because we can upload it later, can't we?
Yeah.
Okay. We get one thing figured out and something else, of course.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way it always works.
Let Gabe watch it.
Yeah, Gabe's on there.
Well, where's he at?
I'm not. He's as it says under chat.
No.
Oh,
Is he still there?
He done took off.
Oh,
He's
did he?
playing his game.
How rude.
He said hi, and I said hi, Gabe, and then that was it. So yeah, but I found some verses that kind of go with that too, which I
Right.
thought was kind of neat. We say when you look at, and actually on church Sunday, it was brought up where was it church on Sunday? I can't remember where I saw it at, or maybe something I was watching. It was being preached. Where I think it was something I was watching that was being preached.
Right.
Jesus, said, why have thou forsaken me?
Right. Yeah,
But
that's the video where he's hanging on the cross.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
But then when you go back to the Old Testament,
Psalm 22.
yes, that's what it was. There's something that, yeah. And how one part in the Bible, you look back and then there's another part Okay. Yeah. I'm struggling to get my thoughts
All
together
right.
tonight. I'm tired, guys.
I
I'm
understand.
sorry. But yeah, so now I was looking at this.
And then,
Ezekiel 34:15
okay. Well, yeah.
says, I myself will tend my sheep and have
Yes,
them
yes,
lie
we
down,
brought up the Good Shepherd.
declares the sovereign
when we
Lord.
started this, I think.
Yeah. So, this kind of says, I myself will tend my sheep and have them lie down, says the sovereign Lord.
Mhm.
So, that's the Lord talking. That's God talking. So,
Well, and that's, I brought that up a few times on here, and I want to reiterate. For those that believe that Jesus never claimed to be God, he referred to himself as the Good Shepherd,
mhm.
which is a direct reference to Ezekiel. Did you say chapter 34?
Ezekiel 34:15.
Okay. In Ezekiel 34, the Lord is speaking through Ezekiel.
Mhm.
I am the good shepherd. I myself will gather my people. I myself will tend to my people. He's not pawning it off. It's not going to be Moses. It's not going to be a prophet. It's not what. It's God Himself through Christ who is going to gather His people.
Yeah.
And when Jesus referenced Himself as the Good Shepherd, the Jews, the Israelites, would have known that. Why do you think they wanted Him?
Yeah.
He regularly referred to Himself as God.
Yes.
Like that. That's why the religious leaders had such a problem with Him.
Mm-hmm.
They seen it as blasphemy. But no, I think my favorite line during his whole interrogation. Now I can't remember if it was when he was being interrogated by the high priest or when he was being interrogated by Pontius Pilate. I want to say it's when it was with the high priest. They're asking him, it's like, you said that you could tear down the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. Who do you think? I can't remember how it was worded, but he answered, before Abraham was, I am.
Yeah.
So not only has he invoked eternity, but when God was talking to Moses through the burning bush, God's telling him, you go tell Pharaoh what I have said. Well, who am I supposed to tell you that you are? What's your name? I am that I am,
Mm-hmm.
or I am who I am. I can't, it's different in different translations, but the basis of it, you tell them my name is I am. I exist. I'm not the God of the water. I'm not the God of the sun. I'm not the God of fertility. I am, period. I exist. So yeah, that was a direct, before Abraham was, well, all the church leaders knew who Abraham was,
Mm-hmm.
and his wording is, it was so powerful and it's one of them things where you probably read it 1,000 times and never put 2 and 2 together, but the moment you do, the magnitude of what he just spoke, he could have said, before Abraham was, I existed. He could have said, he could have made all kinds of references to the spirit, the universe, the matter that matter simply is, or whatever the case may be. But he didn't say any of that. He's, before Abraham was, I am. No, he directly referred to himself as God.
Yep.
Though he did also reference that there are different aspects of God. Me and the Father are one. Nobody comes through the Father except through me. I have to go, but you are getting the Comforter.
Yeah.
He has
Holy
brought
Spirit.
up that there are different aspects of the Godhead.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's pretty cool how you can read, how many years apart, and it's the same thing, and it doesn't ever contradict itself like that.
And that is the thing. I've got a bad habit about driving down the road and the phone being on the Facebook Reels, and I don't watch it, but I'll listen to it, and I'll set the phone where I can just kind of swipe and go to the next one. And I ran across something on that very topic on the way over here. There is so much that, nowadays we call it hyperlinked.
Sorry, our kids are
Big
messaging. Well, they're messaging us like, hey, Chris is echoing. Now mom's gone. Now you're all back. But sorry. It's fine. It's just, we're good.
Well, what do they want me to do about it?
I don't.
They'll understand the setup.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, Chris is muted.
Of course.
Mom's
He's supposed to be muted.
Right.
Because because they're on
Right.
the actual app watching it, so it's showing everybody muted. I'm like,
Right.
but we're not. Yeah, so sorry. I kept feeling like I was being a distraction to you because I kept looking down and laughing at their comments.
Well, I was curious. Like, what am I missing here?
My bad.
Do I have a Batman cave?
Talk about shiny tinsel and chasing squirrels.
Right.
There it is.
Yep.
They're just trying to help.
Oh,
and I love it. I love
we
it.
do appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
even if they are being distractions.
Well, it's like my phone just kept going off, and I kept dismissing.
Right. But no, like nowadays we would say that the Bible is hyperlinked. And if one individual wrote something, in the same wordage, like the same amount of content that is in what we would call the Bible, if one person wrote that and had half as many references back to his own work, you would call him a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, first podcast, is the Bible a book? Yes or no?
It's a living word.
Okay, but
It's
is it one book?
No.
Oh, no.
66.
There's
In the Protestant Bible, 66 books. How many authors did one person write it?
no.
No.
Okay, so my understanding is a little over 40 authors.
Mhm.
Was it written in the same place?
No.
3 continents.
Yeah.
Yes.
Europe, Asia, and Africa. I'm trying to figure out which one was considered Asia.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I want to say it was probably one of Paul's letters because he traveled that.
Probably.
Now, what was the time frame? Did they pull a Stephen King and maybe take about 8 to 10 years to write a novel?
No.
So what is the time frame from the actual writing of the Old Testament until John's Revelation? Because that would have been the last book. So what is the time frame? Do y'all remember?
I don't remember.
About 1,500 years.
I was wanting to say around 2,000 years close to it, but
Okay,
I
so-
didn't want to,
No, that is the most current information we have. What we would call the Protestant Bible is 66 books, and some of them were letters. It's 66 books written by over 40 different people on 3 separate continents in 3 different languages, to be honest with you. Over a time span of 1,500 years. And and it is the most hyperlinked collection, so to speak, to date. Like nothing, it's kind of like, you know what the best-selling book of the world is? Like Guinness Book of World Records puts out the best-selling book. It is the Bible every year. And
I was hoping that's what you were
it
going to
is
say.
by
But
so far of a margin that they don't even reference it anymore. They reference the number 2. Because the Bible sells more copies every year at such a higher percentage than any other bestseller, so to speak, that Guinness doesn't even bother printing it anymore. And I take encouragement in that.
yeah,
Now, I also know that a lot of that is because of people like us. We want more than one. We want different translations. That one's in a bigger print. I like the cover on that one.
Yeah.
I've marked in that one so much I can't hardly read it. It's kind of like a firearm ownerships. It's
Yes.
not that everybody has one. It's that those that have it have more than one.
Yeah. I have 3 translations. I got 2 with me. You got 3 or 4.
I like reading the different translations because you get different breakdowns.
Well, it was this
Not
time
really that
last
it's-
year. You sent me with about 4 or 5 to give away.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that, it's not different. Like it's not like it's a different story, but it's just broken down differently for a different understanding level, I guess.
Dummified.
Yeah.
Well,
Some are easier to understand. Some are, like you said, thought for thought, word for word.
right.
It
It is important to point that out. And no Bible is a 100% direct word for word. And I say that because,
a lot of words get lost in translation.
well, not just that. That's not even where I was going with it. Sentence structure is different between languages also. So, what is it, like, adjectives and adverbs might be in a completely different location in another language.
Yeah.
So you will never get a direct, line by line,
Yeah.
100% direct translation because it won't make sense.
Right.
So that is need to know. Not that it makes any difference, but somebody will argue something stupid like that, and somebody less intelligent than that will believe them.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it's not a direct translation. They reordered it. Learn a different language, and it makes a lot more sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Just be glad it wasn't written. I think it's Korean. A lot of their words are the same word, but the manner by which, I don't even think it's the pronunciation as much as where you accent it and how you might say it changes the entire meaning of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Be glad it wasn't written in that language.
Yeah.
Because we'd never, like we're reading this. How?
Yeah.
But no, the Bible is, like I said, we call it a book, but it's a collection of books, and like I said, a lot of them were letters.
There was letters and there was like poems and songs.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is Psalms. How many songs are there? Give me just
There's a lot.
There is a lot. And
most of them are songs or poems.
Right. And what we would think of normal song or poem length, some of them are, let's say, 8 to 12 sentences.
Mm-hmm. Some are a lot longer than that.
I want to say there's a couple of them that are several pages. There are 150 psalms included in the Protestant Bible. I couldn't tell you if there is any difference, like with the Torah and the Tanakh or what. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I don't know if I'm sure that the Hebrews have more. I don't remember if the Catholics have more.
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think their Catholics only have 4 more, what they would call the Apocrypha.
So here's something interesting about the Book of Psalms: structures and divisions.
Mm-hmm.
There is 150 Psalms, and they're split into 5 distinct sections of the book. You got book.
Also, David didn't write all of it.
No, he did not. Book 1 is Psalms 1 through 41. So we go back to multiple books. Book 2 is 42 through 72. Book 3 is 73 through 89. Book 4 is 90 through 106, and Book 5 is 107 to 150. It is the longest book in the Bible. Psalms 119 is the longest chapter with 176 verses.
Gotcha.
Psalm 117 is the shortest chapter with only 2 verses.
So that one next. Might take us 3 weeks.
Now, what are the actual divisions?
That's all. That's just what it says.
Does it say why these are one book and these are another? No. Mm-mm. Or was that simply just a printing thing as far as we know?
The different types: praise, lament, and that's what it says.
Okay, because the way I've read through them is they're, like all the laments are not together. Like this is the depressed book, this is the praise book. What I do think is neat is in theme, was it Psalms 22, 23, and 24 go together in theme, but they can be read individually as well.
Okay. So it breaks it down. Book 1 through 41 is often paired with Genesis, which focuses on creation, man, and blessings.
Okay.
Book 2, 42 through 72 is with Exodus, focusing on redemption, deliverance, and rescue. 73 through 89 is paired with Leviticus, focusing on worship, the sanctuary, and God's holiness. 90 through 106 is paired with Numbers, focusing on wilderness, journey, wandering, and God's faithfulness. 107 through 150 is often paired with Deuteronomy, focusing on God's word, praise, and thanksgiving. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I that when you started explaining that, it makes sense to me, but that's not what I thought it would have been. But it makes sense. They have divided up Psalms to go with the Torah.
Yeah.
Which does make a certain amount of sense. Now they kind of got me on Deuteronomy, because my understanding of Deuteronomy is that it's kind of a rehash of Leviticus and Numbers.
Yeah.
Now I'm sure there's information in there that might be worded differently or might have a little more information, but that's kind of what I derived from reading it is, have we not already read this?
Well,
It's like Deuteronomy was a recap.
yeah. Well, maybe because Deuteronomy does go more into the praise and worship and Thanksgiving side of that.
It does.
Maybe that's why, because that's what this is, focuses on God's word.
Well, and
praise and Thanksgiving.
My understand, and again, I'm guessing from memory, but like if you go through Leviticus, you can fairly well say most everything is wrong. And it does bring up some of that in Numbers also, but is it not in Deuteronomy that tells you what to do about it?
Right.
It's not just this is wrong, but this is the appropriate sacrifice. Under these circumstances, this is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Under that circumstance, different recipe. But on the overall whole, the preparation H still is good.
Well, that's interesting to know.
But no, it just always seemed to me that Deuteronomy was more of a recap of the previous.
I mean, but you have that a lot throughout the Bible. A lot of,
you do. Well, and that's honestly what I tell people. If you're going through the epistles, you can always tell one of Paul's. Because I remember going through it, and then like I was trying to learn, I was trying to get, like I want to understand. So I know what I'm reading, but I want to go talk to somebody who's been reading it longer than me.
Yeah.
So I went and found my stepdad at the time, and I'm like, is it just me, or is Paul like the used car salesman of the New Testament? I'm like, because he's pushing his message, not in a down your throat way, but it's like he's trying to sell it to you. He keeps, hey, here's one example, and now here's another example. And he's like, honestly, that fits. It's like he was a Pharisee. He knew the law, but he's trying to explain Christianity and Christ and the Gospels to people who don't know the law. He's like, that's why a lot of his writings kind of go more in depth in the nuances of what he's trying to say. He's trying to teach and explain it to them because they're not familiar with it. Where if you read Peter's, he was preaching to the Hebrews.
Yeah.
Like it was Jewish people that he was, like they knew the law. He was trying to tell them what Christ did, and what that meant. He's like, so they already had that background understanding. He's like, but yeah, the whole used car salesman thing, that fits.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And that makes a lot of sense to anybody who's ever went to the used car dealer. They try to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, if you're a salesman, that's your job. I'm not knocking.
So that leads us into, he leads me beside the still waters.
That's what we have been talking about.
Well, we've been talking about, we're finishing up the made to lie down and all that.
Okay.
So now
Hoorah.
Yeah.
We might get to chapter 2 tonight. We'll finish 1. We might get to 2.
Well, honestly,
we kind of went backwards a little bit to catch up, and
and we did kind of mess last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay though.
But is there anything that you can think of specifically in your notes about the waters that we haven't covered? I mean, anything screaming at you is like, I got to say this.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So this was kind
You
of
can't say that. We're hungry. Don't use queso.
queso.
Okay, so what happened was we got some chips.
Yeah.
Well, and that's kind of where my
I got some salsa at the house. back then, of course, it probably may still be here that way now too. The waters were rushing waters. They weren't calm, still waters.
Right.
Most places they were rushing waters, fast moving streams. Sheep have what?
Anxiety, fear,
Okay,
and their scatterbrains.
What are they covered?
Wool.
Okay, so if they get wet in those rushing waters, that
Like football.
weight,
Oh yeah.
the weight alone is going to pull
yeah.
them under. So they couldn't just take them to any stream.
Right. They had to find shallow crossings where they could walk.
Yeah, so
Not fast moving. So,
I feel the pain.
I get it.
yes,
Anything deeper than a foot, I gotta have swimmies. I feel their pain.
So the shepherd couldn't just point to any water and say, "Hey, there it is, go drink."
No, he had to find a suitable fording place.
Yes, he had to find the still waters, the quiet pools, the safe places where they could drink without fear.
Okay.
So we live in a world of rushing water, so
Okay.
to speak.
I get
Right.
it. Okay.
You see where I'm going with this? You see what I'm putting down? Okay. We're constantly bombarded with noise and this and that. Like, I got to get this done. I got to get that done, demands, got to have more and we got to do faster and we got to, we've talked about this in this whole series. So
whole series, whole podcast.
Yeah.
I think it's been a whole year of that.
Well, I mean, but that's life. That is Western civilization. Is we, and we do it to ourselves on many aspects. Now, don't get me wrong. We got to work. We got to pay the bills. We got to mow the dang yard. The trash has to go out. Blah blah blah. But there's a lot of it we take upon ourselves, and I'm not trying to promote like sloth or sloppiness or anything like that. If you happen to be one that likes having horses and stuff like that, well, that is now another burden on your time because they require care also.
Yes.
Now, if that is your job, that's one thing. But if that is your hobby, you have taken that on, and it's not the horse's fault. You did it.
mhm.
It's the same thing that with people that really love their flower beds and their landscaping and stuff. I'm not saying that a pretty house isn't pretty. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is any of us that have spent any time outside, that takes time and effort,
Mhm.
and that is us on our own, occupying our time and effort, and filling up the clock in the calendar. They're, and like I said, I'm not saying anything about work. I'm not saying anything about,
No, you're not saying it's a negative thing. Just
no, it's the
just
realization that,
Life.
we add extra stuff on ourselves that we don't necessarily need to add.
well, when you get right down to it, a lot of people, if you bring up, well, you're invited to go to church with us on Sunday, or how often do you read your Bible? A common thing you get is, I don't have time.
Mhm.
Okay, well, each of us has these same 24 hours in a day.
Yep.
That much we share. How we occupy that time, that is on an individual basis. If you spend 12 hours of that asleep and laying in bed, okay, half of it's gone.
Mhm.
Then everything else that has to be done, you now only have half as much time as the rest of us.
Yep.
If you spend 6 of those hours playing video games, now what we would call mandatory has to get done. I'm making a pattern here.
Yeah.
We do that. Now, like I said, we got to work. We got stuff we have to do. But if we have organized our time to the point where we are constantly running and we barely get any sleep, we might need to reprioritize where our time's going. Like I like tinkering with things. I like figuring out how things work. I like taking it apart and seeing if I can make it work again. But if that is keeping me from the church, if that is keeping me from reading the word, then I need to reprioritize my hobbies. And there's nothing wrong with doing such things, but put them in accordance to their priority. The simple truth is we are humans. We will focus our time and our money on what is important to us.
Matthew
It is that
6:21.
simple. We spend our time and our money on the things that draw our attention most. And if in a 7-day period, I can't remember how many hours that is, and I'm not going to do the math, but if the best we can do is 1 hour, maybe an hour and a half to God a week, we need to reprioritize how our time is.
Mhm.
And it's really that simple. I was talking with our friend earlier this week about like guitar playing and stuff like that. Music is one of those things you will never get more out of it than you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. Some people do have a more natural knack and talent than others. But I want to say I seen an interview where Steve Vai said that before he got big, he practiced 5 hours a day. I'm not going to lie. I've never put that much in, and that wasn't 5 hours in one day a week. That was 5 hours every day. And I'm sure there were probably scattered days that he missed. I mean, we all get sick or, have to go on vacation with the family or what, crap happens. But if my memory serves, unless there was something beyond his control, it was 5 hours a day, every day. Okay. Even if we knock break talent off this thing, he's always going to be a far better player than I will ever be because I have not put that much time into it. So I will not get that same result back out of it. Now change that to God, Jesus, and the Bible. How much time do you put into it, and what are we expecting to get out of it? Is that an amen or an oh me or keep the gloves up?
You get what you put in it.
Well, in a lot of ways you do.
Yeah.
We're only going to grow so much in the faith if we're not investing into the faith. And you can use whatever analogy you want. Now God is greater than our best efforts.
Yes.
But none of us, we're not going to make it very far in our Christian walk if we're not trying. We're not going to grow in faith if we're not growing in the Word. We're not going to increase our understanding if we're not attempting to understand. So there are certain aspects. No, you're not going to get a bit more out of it than you're putting into it. So like Taco says, read your Bibles.
It reminds me of, I had to look up exactly where the verse was, but I remember the verse, it's Matthew 6:21 and Luke 12:34 both. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, is, we focus our time, attention, finances, resources. You can tell what is a priority to people by how they spend their life.
Mm-hmm.
I used to joke with people, like 20, 25 years ago, dating sites were kind of a new thing.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean to anybody, but after, 15 minutes of going through that, my kids or my life, that was a red flag, and I'm not trying to be mean to people. That became a red flag, like if you read that phrase, like, no, I don't think, because what we see where their time and attention and this ain't a woman thing. This is a male thing. People will say, hey, this is the most important thing to me. Then it should show.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that it doesn't matter what we're talking about. If you truly love and care about somebody, then it should show. There should be evidence. If you are struggling and you are trying to do better, trying that's effort. There should be some show of effort somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's not always for me to see, but there should still be evidence, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I've spoken to somebody recently, an individual. Hey, you go to church last Sunday? Yeah. It doesn't show.
Right.
I mean,
Did you stay awake?
and everybody's different when it comes to that, and I admit that. But if you're a believer in God and you're GDing this and running your mouth in certain different directions, and she knows who I'm talking about, and I pray for this person, and
this isn't said in judgment.
No.
We all need
yes,
Jesus.
yes.
And we've all been in that situation.
Yes,
Every one
yes.
of us has been.
Yes.
I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I said it to a trained same person.
But you are correct. If you're trying, if you're going to church, it should show.
Yes.
Or tell me why you're going. Because if you're not looking to change your life, why are you going?
And I asked this person, do you need help? Do you want me to read with you? Do you want to study together?
Right.
What do you want to do? And he had mentioned wanting to be on the podcast. And I said, you're not ready for that.
Right.
And I said, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. By all means, I'm not saying we're better than you. We're not better than you. And I said that to him, and I said, I'm not being me. I said, you're not ready for that.
Right.
And also I said, it's just, God's just going to let that happen.
Right.
It's not up to us. It's up to God. If God says, like in the podcast, then we'll do it.
Right. No, I have to watch it myself. There's days I do fairly good. Now, GD, like, I think I've said it like maybe once in the last 5 years, and I got twice as mad at myself once I realized it.
That's like
out.
the gauntlet of words.
Well, and and none of us should say anything that could be considered a curse word.
Yeah.
None of us should. And what I try to tell people, and especially in their younger years, if you never stop, don't start cussing, don't start smoking, don't start drinking.
Mm-hmm.
If you never start, you don't have to worry about quitting.
Right.
Yeah.
And like foul language, to me, is probably one of the hardest things to quit. Because all you have to do is not be vigilant. And you're dropping F-bombs like they're candy sprinkles, and you don't even want to. It's just, how did Bill Cosby, that foul, filth, and foul, and,
Once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Especially around individuals that other people do it.
I'll foul your filth and foul.
I mean, I'm guilty of it when I'm at the house and, a 3-year-old throws something and hits me right in the face with it. And,
fire truck.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, and as soon as I say it, I'm like, oh, like, I try, especially around, her being a mimicker right now, but I try really hard.
Well, and the other thing that I want to point out while we're on this subject, substituting the word is just as bad.
Yes.
The intent is the same.
Yes.
Fiddlesticks. Well, right. And don't get me wrong. If you cannot control it, I would rather it be a substitute.
Yeah.
I was,
somebody's going to hear that and say, well, if a substitution's name is cussing, then I might as well just cuss. I can see that thought process.
Right. Well,
That'd be something Chris would
sorry.
say. That'd be something Chris would say.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, if that's the same logic, we're all going to die. Why are we waiting?
I mean,
I know.
And no, for the record, I am not encouraging anybody, but it's the same dang principle.
Yeah.
What always got me was, when you try to tell somebody to not do anything stupid. Well, if it's my time to go, well, do you know exactly when that time is going to be? Well, no, but okay. Now let's reiterate. You think your only options are live or die.
You could seriously get hurt.
Yeah.
You could
get vegetable drinking your food through a straw and an IV for the next 80 years.
Yeah.
I'm like one of the individuals I brought that up to is what you might call a more masculine male and, all that. I'm like, and dang good and well, you're not going to get an attractive nurse to change your bedpans. I'm like, either a female that you find hideous or a male changing your diaper the rest of your life. Like this is going to be hell on earth for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're gonna laugh about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My actual brother several years ago had a motorcycle wreck. He had surgery planned. I took him up there for the little pre-surgery thing, and I don't know if it would be a nurse or an orderly. I can't keep track of all of that. The gentleman was not a doctor, but he filled the doorway, and he came in like not only in width but in height. This guy, he ate his Wheaties and probably his neighbors too. And I'm not trying to talk the individual down. He's a big old boy, and he come in and like did the whole blood pressure thing and asked a few questions and all that, and he turned around and walked back out, and I just looked over at my brother. I'm like, boy, you better be glad he's not giving you old cough finger test today. He's like, you would find me hobbling as fast as I could to get the heck out of here. I'm like, he bigger than you are, he'll catch you. I'm like, and what's worse, like, he don't even have to give you the dignity of dragging you back. He might just pick you up like a baby.
Yeah, sack of potatoes.
Yeah. He's like, boy, and like it just like you got to think about those things, or specifically don't think about them. One of the two.
Yeah.
But not knowing when it's our time to die is not an excuse to live reckless.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, you shouldn't be so drawn up in fear that you, what was that character from, when they had the nerds playing baseball, had John Lovitz in it with the, he was in there, the John Hader, David Spade, Rob Schneider.
Benchwarmers.
Benchwarmers, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it had that
I was like, I knew what he was talking about, but I was like, what is it
you had
called?
the one character, what do they call it? Agoraphobia. You're afraid of the sunlight.
Yeah.
But this character spent their life like locked in a closet. Oh, that's not biblical either.
No.
And hopefully there's nobody in real life that is that bad. Don't get me wrong. Like I don't wish that thing on any, that type of lifestyle on anybody. I think I've made whatever point I was making. I think.
Yeah. Well, you kind of touched base on where I was going next with it is,
There you go.
like, the shepherd doesn't force the sheep to drink, just like God doesn't force us to spend time with him.
Right.
He leads them there. He provides the environment of peace. You have to choose to drink from it or not.
Right.
That's basically, you touch base on that. We have to be willing to unplug from the current, that fast flowing water, the busy life, and we have to step into the silence.
Well, there is that. And I can already hear people arguing. It's like, well, God didn't lead me to peace. Everything's chaotic. And my brain automatically goes to that meme with Mark Wahlberg. It's like, why are y'all blaming God for your problems when most of your problems came from not listening to him in the first place?
Yeah.
So that would be my thing. If you are really, truly believing that God did not give you any motion of peace, calmness, no manner of provision whatsoever, have you tried listening to him and following him? Because that would be a good start before blaming him.
Well, it's like when you ask God for patience and he gives it to you.
Well, does he? Or does he give you an opportunity to be patient?
Exactly.
And
you're like, you got jokes, don't you?
He does. He really does. I've learned in my walk to be careful.
Yes.
The manner by which I pray.
Yeah. You learned how to word your words. And you're like, hold on, let me take that back. Hold on.
Is the whole time I'm praying and that, like I'm trying to be cautious, knowing dang good and well God already knows. And he does have a sense of humor. You know,
Like I told him, give me a good woman that's going to take care of me.
Are you regretting that prayer?
I'm not regretting it. It just took him forever.
what did it take him or did it take you?
Yes.
You know, because again, a lot of times we are our own problem.
Yeah.
You had me back in high school. You messed that up.
You didn't like him then.
You should have.
He had me for a day.
You should have posted just some.
Whether I liked him or not, he had me for that
And
day.
I heard you argue that you told her day one, we're going to get married.
I did.
You should have did it day one.
I should have.
I'm just saying.
I told her we can get married. She said, "It's like no, we're not. Yeah, we are. Watch.
I didn't like you.
Watch me whip."
But I didn't like him because I saw the nature of how he treated girls.
Right.
They liked it in high school. That's back in the 1900s.
We old.
Speak for yourself. I'm holding out.
Yes.
You know, I
No, according to my kids, we're old. We were one of the 1900s. We're old.
right.
That's the way they view it. And I'm like, we're really not that old. Like, yeah, but it was the 1900s. It's only like 27 years ago, right?
Yeah, well, you know, that there is that parent's curse. It'll happen to you.
Mm.
Yeah.
One of these days you'll have gray hair and a big forehead and ear hair, and you know, you'll forget things, and it's not because it's convenient, it's because you really forgot. You know. I have decided though that God's a gearhead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He drove a Ford too because he walked everywhere.
Have you noticed? Have you noticed that as we get into our classic car era, that we get more chrome and the exhaust gets louder?
Yeah.
Just saying.
My Dodge is not loud enough.
Okay. So we only got a couple of
And
minutes
runs
left.
a little rich sometimes. Like, whoa, that's burning my eyes.
Yep.
And honestly, for a lot of us, I think the timing's retarded.
So what we need to do is get back on track. We only got a few more
I'm
minutes.
just saying, you know.
No, I'm not. I'm not
We
arguing.
have, let's just finish this out and we'll start on verse 3.
Yep.
Next time. Yeah. When we return.
So we need to think about what is keeping us from lying down. So what is keeping us from our time with God, from being still, from being listening?
Well, yeah.
Ooh, what kind of English is that?
I'm going to say that's the King's English.
Is it, we kind and I wouldn't be opposed to making a list. What is stopping you from doing what you need to do to build your relationship with God?
An accurate reflection and accountability.
Yes.
That's going to be the first obstacle because we don't have a very good aptitude for looking at ourselves and finding a problem that we might have caused or that could be our fault. We have a very strong capability of being the victim.
The biggest thing is this device right here.
Right. In this age, it's either going to be that, the computer, or the TV.
Yep.
Well, I know for some it's the fear that they're going to miss out on something.
Yeah.
Or, the fear that they're not going to be as successful because they don't focus on their job as much. Or, those kinds of things are, I think, I know for me, when I was with Dollar General, it was my job. It was my job that kept me, that was my life.
And there are things about it that are handy. And I love not having a landline anymore. The house phone, I like that. When cell phones first, now don't get me wrong, that old Nokia 6120 or whatever, the bulletproof bricks, now, and I'm not knocking it. I loved that phone. Took you 3 days to send a text message, but I loved the phone.
I got pretty fast at it. The more
but it's still, you're having to scroll through it rather than simply type. But once the era of smartphones come in, like I resisted it. I only wanted a cell phone for like emergencies, and when I was not 21 yet, so 19 or 20, I lived in northern Indiana and I was delivering pizzas. I knew roughly the town that I was in and I had access to maps. But if it was busy, I would run off with anywhere from 3 to 6 orders.
Mhm.
The map meant nothing to me because you're picturing it from the store to where you're going.
Yep.
I'd figure out which one was closest. And I would, like, if I grabbed multiple orders, I'd kind of scan through them and I'm like, okay, we're going to make a big loop so we're not zigzagging all over town. And a lot of times what I would do is I would go to the first one, and as I'm leaving there, I would call the customer. I'm coming from this street. What's the best way to get to your place?
Yeah.
And they're happy to tell you. It's like, no, if it gets here 3 degrees warmer, this is your quickest route. Amen. Drop that off. Next one. I'm leaving this address or this area. I wouldn't give out people's addresses, but I'm in this vicinity. What's the quickest way to your house?
Yep.
And that I didn't want to look up stuff because I had a computer. Like I didn't want to chat with people because I had a computer. I wanted a phone for a phone,
Mhm.
Now as time has gone on, like me and my brother, and it's not just us, there's a lot of people out there, we go on motorcycle rides. And personally, I am so over taking the main known roads everywhere I go. Now, if it's a time thing, it's a time thing. But I couldn't tell you how many times where I wanted to go for a ride. I just pull out the map and start, okay, I never knew where this road went to.
Mhm.
Let's go find out. Especially if you're away from the house, you know how handy it is, like I don't know where I'm at. Look up on the map. Okay, there's the nearest town. Where's the nearest gas station?
For my side job, I have to have it to deliver.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. So there are things that are handy about it. And like I said, I resisted it for years. And now I probably post more garbage on social media than the both of y'all combined. Because I'll post for any reason. Hey, this was funny. Click. I kind of like what they said here. Click. That's an interesting accent. Click. Oh, this will make some people mad. Click, 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 Because, what's the point in having a pot if you don't stir it from time to time?
Right.
Big wooden kitchen spoon. Kind of used to hang on the wall.
I use mine for promoting my books and stuff.
Right, right.
I try to keep it more focused on, I do share family stuff and,
And like I'm telling on
But,
myself.
yeah.
I'm not judging. It's
Oh no, I used to be just,
right.
but I try not to do it as much. My thing is I do these little game apps that you earn money to play games.
Right, right.
That's my thing.
And
I think I'm sitting here helping my family. Look, I can make 2 cents playing this game for 2 hours.
Right,
That really is making you money,
right.
That's my
Right. No, I get it. And don't get me wrong, that's better than it costing you money.
Yeah.
Because there are people bad about that too. But no, we, especially in Western society, it's not specifically that we have too many distractions. It's that we allow and embrace entirely too many distractions.
Yep.
Like I said, and I have to agree, if it's not the phone and social media, sports, and nothing wrong with sports, but I've met people that it seems that their entire life revolves around sports.
Yeah.
And some people, it might be one team, and other people, as long as it's a sport, they're involved. And I'm glad they like it. Now, I personally, I would rather, there's other things, if I was going to make my life revolve around like a hobby of some kind, I would take something different.
Mhm.
And I'm not putting them down. I don't like sports that much,
I'm not very big on sports either.
but some people are. you know.
I used to be.
I'm really not. I mean, I watched it because he would want to watch it,
She
or
picks the-
because my
she
kids were in it, you know. But
Right.
or I had to
picks the color
coach it because
circles.
nobody else would. I had no idea what I was doing. But you know,
Right.
sports isn't mine.
Right.
I mean, I like to go fishing. I like to go hiking. I
Well,
like to.
there's folks that really, you know, they really don't care about sports. They really don't care about all forms of racing, but they love NASCAR.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other folks that it's all drag racing. They don't care about NASCAR. They don't care about the midgets or the road races. It's drag racing.
We like the
Uh,
derbies.
Hey, and there's other folks that's where they're at with it. And I like watching derbies. What I don't like is most of the ones I've been to around here, it's kind of like watching a football game. There is so much wasted time for no more action than you get.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it's not uncommon to watch about 5 minutes, or no, not even 5 minutes, maybe a minute and a half of active football playing.
And they're afraid to hit.
Well, not only that, but you know, the first you hear the whistle blow, like, okay, they've done something for about a minute and a half. And it might be 45 minutes before they do something else.
Yep.
I'm like, geez, what are y'all doing?
And they're charging $15 a person to get in there.
Right. And like a lot of the derbies that I've seen here locally are the same way. It's now once they finally get kicked, great, you know, now we're seeing some crap getting tore up.
Yep.
But it's like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's what the hell are they doing?
A lot of
Yeah.
them are tag teaming because they're their friends. They're trying not to hit each
Oh,
other.
I'm not even that. It's
Like,
the
but-
why are we waiting?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's before they ever start their engine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like I want to say I went to one at a fair years ago, and I think they had them start their engines about 4 times, and they finally got tired of waiting and shut them back off. You know, I'm like, what are y'all trying to do? Run them out of gas? You know, I mean, and there
Get them
might have
out
been
there
a
and get them
legitimate,
started.
and there might have been a legitimate reason, but what? Did you do your prep work? I mean, you ain't got your crap together. But anywho,
Well, verse 2 isn't about being lazy. So we're going to kind of go back over that again. It's not about being lazy.
It's about providing the correct atmosphere and circumstance for peace.
Yes. You cannot serve, you cannot love, you cannot lead if you're running on empty.
I would say the cautionary note there is the complete opposite is also not in play. That is not a biblical excuse to think only about yourself.
Mm-mm.
You know,
No,
the Bible really doesn't deal in extremes. It's not one extreme or the other. You know,
you got to find that happy middle ground there.
I mean, outside of the sin aspect, it is kind of
You
cut.
can't
right
fill
on.
from an empty cup,
Right.
but you still have to have something in that cup.
Right. And well, and I bring that up because so much of our modern age is based around somewhere between self-love and self-loathing. You know, it's like, well, you're not any good to anybody else if you're not taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, the biblical principle says you do some of your best stuff when you're serving others, not when you're serving yourself.
Yep.
You know, and there is a kernel of truth to the other argument, yes, but a lot of folks take that to a selfish point, so to speak.
You have to find that balance.
Right.
You've got to be fed so you can.
Yeah. You have
know.
to eat. You have to, you know.
But we are also supposed to feed others too. So, you know, we've got to, you know, even Jesus, he served. He didn't come to, I mean, he was a leader, but he served. That's what he did.
Yes.
He served his apostles. He served the people.
Mhm.
He washed their feet. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I don't know the leader who would be doing that. Like, I mean,
Not many.
yeah.
Not many.
But he gave of himself daily, but he also took that time to rest and to pray.
And
he went by himself to do it.
that is the thing. And, you know, for the Christian walk, Christ is always the model. And if it happens to be a scenario that the Bible does not directly depict Christ doing it, but it is biblical, then you find the biblical reference, maybe Paul did it, maybe James did it, maybe Job did it. But if you're got a question, Jesus is always the model, but we do not have a 24-hour a day schedule of Jesus's life.
Right.
We simply don't. We haven't, and just for an example, we have no example of Jesus being shipwrecked.
Mm-hmm.
Paul was.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're curious, read that. But you're not going to find a biblical reference of Jesus being shipwrecked. Just as a stupid example.
There's several Bible verses that you can look up that have to do with finding rest in God. Matthew 11:28's one, but this one really sticks out. Psalms 4:8, and we can end with this one if you have nothing else.
I'm going to assume that the Matthew 4:8 is come to me, all who are
11:28. Yeah. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. But Psalms 4:8 kind of sticks out to me because it kind of goes well with what we've covered. Psalm 4:8 says, "In peace I will lie down and sleep. For you alone, Lord, make me dwell in safety."
All right.
So I felt like that one out there really kind of popped out to me with what we've covered so far. It really connected well with that, and it pretty much says all that needs to be said.
Oh yeah.
But there's several in there. There's Exodus 33:14, Hebrews 4:9 and 10, Psalms 23:3, and the list can go on. Like there's several in there that talks about finding rest in Jesus.
Oh yeah. That is and like you said, it's not a reference to promote laziness, but even God rested on the seventh day.
Mm-hmm.
He who was capable of actually running 24/7 said it wasn't good. And like I said, we can't. We say we do, and we think we can. We can't.
It said many times that he went to himself to sit and pray by himself.
Yeah.
And I think at one point he was upset with his apostles because he come out and they were asleep. And he's like, "You couldn't stay awake."
That's the garden before the trial. He wanted them to come and pray, and I think he chose 3 to come closer. And I'm like, "Hey, I want y'all to kind of hold a prayer vigil."
Yeah.
And that's where the body is willing, but the flesh is weak, or the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak.
Yeah.
Because they said that they really wanted to, they just couldn't stay awake.
Yeah.
And that sounded to me like a time where, all right, the 3 of us, we're going to be in kind of a triangular within reach, and whoever's eyes close first, the other ones get to slap.
Yeah.
So
you need a support system.
Yeah.
And that's why it's good to have a small circle around you to help hold you accountable.
It honestly is.
To help you in those tough times when you're struggling.
Hold you accountable, but also to bear you up.
Yeah, to encourage you and to celebrate with you as well. I mean, it's not just, when you're down, but when you're up too, and remind you, hey, just because you're up,
Yeah. Keep your head on your shoulders.
Yeah. Yeah. Remember who got you there.
Right. Yeah. And we're no good at that either. It's I think the more common thing is when things are going good, I'm awesome. And when things are going bad, why is God picking on me?
Yeah.
We're really good at
me.
Well, we're really good at being either the victim or the hero, but we don't like seeing ourselves as the victim.
Yeah.
So
and I'm going to say, outside of a very few people, each of us are the villain in somebody's story.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, but it's earned that we actually are the villain in their story. We just don't like seeing ourselves that way.
Right.
But anywho, I'm going to shut up because we're actually over time, but we got started late. I'm going to make the suggestion that next podcast, see, kind of talk through the last 2 or 3. Next one's yours.
Okay.
Yeah. Verse
Yeah.
3, it's on you, baby.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And I've already got it started and sent you the notes. So
Okay.
And I'm just giving you crap. You know.
Okay.
he's like, I like watching y'all. That's what he told me at home. He's like, I just like watching y'all. I'll pitch in when I need to.
Oh, and yeah, every chance,
Caveat.
you know, and any time you want to chime in there, go for it. Jump in,
Yes.
you know.
It's a team.
Yeah, TIEM, team.
There's no I in team.
There is too. It's in the a-hole. You have to draw it in block letters and it'll make more sense.
Well, for the people that watch this podcast later, because it didn't broadcast everywhere, and I'll upload it. Pray for the ministry. Pray for us. Pray for me. As I'm struggling with some situations right now. It's hitting
Don't worry about it.
That's the problem. I can't. I mean, I can't. I don't like saying that
You're
word.
choosing not to.
Yes.
It's a choice.
It's a choice. Yes, I agree. But it's hard because I'm man the house.
But it's like I told you, it's not on your shoulders. Not just on your shoulders. One, we're a team. But 2,
TIEM.
but the biggest thing you got to remember is God is the one that's in the middle and in control. You're not, I'm not. It's Him, and it's His will.
But
And you need to put it on His shoulders, and you need to quit taking it all on you, because He said that He would fight our battles for us if we ask Him and allow Him to, and you're not allowing Him to. Sorry, my little preaching thing.
No, the problem is,
But didn't God say it's on up that we have to do our work too?
I want to say that there is scripture against laziness and so on and so.
He did, but He didn't say take all the worry on yourself. He said not to worry.
She is correct. If there cannot be a happy balance and medium found, until that is found, you're asking Him to not be a man, because it is our nature to take it upon ourselves.
Oh,
And that's why you struggle.
I know that. I mean, I understand
Well,
that. I'm trying to be just to help, that
Right.
helpmate, and saying, hey, look, it's not just on you though. God's got you. You've got
Try
to
reverse psychology.
You've got to rely on
more.
You've got to rely on God. Like you're giving it to Him,
Right.
but then you're like, no, I kind of want to keep that.
We do that regularly.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of it too.
Oh yeah, I love when preachers are honest about it. Almost every preacher I've ever seen at some point will do a very visual, hey, write down some sin, leave it at the cross, nail it to the cross. We've actually nailed things to the
We've
cross.
done that too.
We've
Yep.
done that.
Yep.
Yep.
Still got the cross.
And
Somewhere.
the preachers that I believe are the most human will then turn around and tell you, and leave it there when you leave here. Don't come by the stage and pick it up on your way back out. When you nail it to the cross, leave it on the cross.
Yeah.
And we don't do like come here, I miss you. You know.
Come back to Daddy. Daddy wants to talk to you.
Whether it's the sin or a worry or whatever the case may be, we have a hard time leaving it nailed.
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't say that to be mean to him.
I know.
The struggle's real.
It's because I love him, and I love the fact that he cares so much about his family. But I hate seeing him struggle with it.
I used to not.
And he used to not. It used to be me.
Right.
Like we flipped roles here big time on that. And
Dresses.
I didn't know. No.
They're comfortable.
And they probably breathe a lot better.
Especially Moo.
Right.
And I've been praying for him on that. I've been, God, just let him realize.
Of course,
that
the real scenario. I don't want to put it out there, but the real scenario.
No, I get it. And like I said, there's not a spot in the Bible that I have found that says, "Come to me, and you'll never have any problems."
No.
Yeah.
He just says not to worry.
Just gonna lay here and just say,
He'll
okay.
fight your battles. His shoulders are a lot bigger than yours, baby.
I know.
I mean, that's my point I'm trying to make. Yes, you're supposed to be concerned. You're supposed to plan accordingly. You're supposed to.
And scripturally, there's a lot that like we are to make sure it's not self-inflicted.
Yes.
We are to make sure that we're not responsible. Like there's a lot in there about what we should and should not do and the manner by which we should or should not do it. But if you dot all the T's and cross all the I's, and put a little chicka over the lowercase j's, if we're doing our best, and I mean our actual best, not that's all I'm giving it best, and we're not actively, bringing it upon ourselves, and we're not, erupting in all kinds of sinful behavior, or whatever the case may be, and then it's a point where this is God's, it's not ours. What we can't do is live a completely sinful, blasphemous existence and expect to walk in the blessing.
Right.
I mean, that's why would we even think that? I mean, other than we're stupid. Yeah.
We touched base Matthew 11:28. Matthew 11:28 fits perfectly with this. I mean, we just went over that verse, and I was focused on Psalms for this, but that, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. There's a reason why that was on the top of my list. Now I know why.
We're going to take a nap?
Yes.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend a nap this late in the evening. I would probably stick it out and then just go to bed. Unless y'all are some weirdos that can have a 5-minute nap. I'm not. I used to be able to. I used to be able to close my eyes, nap for a couple minutes, maybe 10, 15, and I felt like $1,000,000. Now it takes me half an hour to 45 minutes just to fall asleep, maybe. And if I don't get at least about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I'm ill the rest of the day.
Oh, I could pass out.
I'm really diving hard into my grumpy old man stage.
Oh, when she starts talking to me in that time, I'm out.
Yeah. I'm in mid-sentence and he's over there snoring. I'm like, we were literally just having a conversation. Like, what? I can't go to sleep that easily. Why do you get to? That's just not fair. Like, women's brains don't work that way, I guess.
I am out. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I fell asleep. What were you saying? Nothing. Let's go to sleep.
Never mind.
We'll say it again so I can go back to sleep.
But I get it. Like, he's always been able to go to sleep very, very easily. So,
I used to.
I don't anymore.
Since I had that accident, I can't get comfortable.
Yes, that's a big thing
and
for
so
me,
I
too.
spend a lot of my time as a rotisserie chicken. But guys, we're going to stick a fork in it and pray for us. We'll pray for y'all. Read your Bibles.
Yeah.
Practice your guitar.
Yes.
And, pretty much, yeah. Stand up, sit down, read from this page.
Do jumping jacks and 1 foot up, 1 foot down.
Find your time in God this week.
Yes.
You did the hokey pokey.
Well, we're out.
I'm running out of stuff.
All right.
Y'all be blessed.
Have a good night. Amen. God bless.
I need to drink.
What I want to do is do this one, that.
I can do that. That's all you'll
This is where
tell
the
me.
real talk starts.
No.
So take a seat, let's have a chat, table talk.